Before I get started, I just wanted to remind all of you that these YouTube clips of the podcast do get put together into a longer form audio podcast that I recommend all of you go follow, whatever podcasting app you use. So yeah, it's Tech and Tea with Joshua Vergara. And on that note, I want to also just give a quick shout out to my last video, if you haven't seen it already. It was with Nick Gray, editor-in-chief of Fandroid, and we talked about something I call social media distancing, which is to say, getting away from social media, especially the feeds. That way you don't get caught up in all of the, let's say, negativity that might be out there. There's plenty of uplifting stuff, but if you get caught in the negative loop, it could be very bad for your mental health. And given that this is basically the start of the week when I'm releasing this video clip, I do want to try and bring up a sort of lighthearted topic, or rather a hopeful one. Let's put it that way. There's so many things going on right now that it's easy to get caught up in the doom and gloom of everything. And don't get me wrong, there's a reality to this that none of us can ignore. So I hope everybody is staying in, taking care of yourselves and each other, and finding ways of coping with this social distancing era that we're in right now. But the fact also remains that at some point we will be past all of this. And I wanted to ask you all a question which will frame what I'm about to talk about. What are you looking forward to once all of this is over? Now, obviously, I don't mind if you talk about anything, any topic when it comes to this question, but of course, I am a tech reviewer, so I'm asking you what kind of things you're really looking forward to as far as tech is concerned. Tech trends, products, and all of that stuff. Because I alluded to this in my Who Is This For video that I was going to give you a couple of final thoughts after using one particular phone for just over a month. It was a phone that made me kind of hopeful for the future. And that is, of course, the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip. Now, quick backstory. I never really got any of the foldables. I never got the Galaxy Fold. I never got the Huawei Mate X, the Moto Razr, or anything like that. So I wasn't really using those on a daily basis to have a real perspective on what it's like to use one of those innovative technologies. Until the Galaxy Z Flip came out, and you might remember that I actually went to the Samsung Experience store to pick one up myself. I mentioned in a couple of videos already how much I do enjoy using the Galaxy Z Flip, but I'm going to give a few reasons as to why I do think it is a wonderful snapshot of what we can look forward to after all of this stuff is behind us. By the way, this Galaxy Z Flip is rocking the teardown skin. If you are into the teardown for any type of device, they have a bunch of them available. They've been out for a while now, so don't go sleeping on them. Make sure you grab them before they're done. There was a time last year when we were at the let's say the peak of all of the pop-up cameras, motorized cameras, and also the foldables were starting to become really a thing, where publications were saying that we are in an era where smartphones are becoming weird again. And I totally agreed. It's really awesome to see some innovation in a segment of the tech market that I have been in for almost a full decade. And it's been a long time since I've been reporting on smartphones. And even though there are always going to be things that are fun about smartphones, you can't deny that there's also a ton of them. So when something comes in and throws a wrench into the status quo, you really kind of celebrate it. Even if it's not a phone you would ultimately recommend everybody go buy, it is still something that you look at and go, hey, that's pretty dope. And after using the Galaxy Z Flip for quite a while, I also noticed that there were a lot of people saying that in using this particular phone, it was almost as if they were holding a piece of the future in their hand. I didn't really get what they meant by that because I did not think that this phone was going to be the kind that actually makes it into most people's hands. To me, the future is a future for everybody. To me, the future is for every single person to actually adopt this new technology and it become the norm. Was the Galaxy Z Flip going to become the next flip phone, the way that we had flip phones in the dumb phone age? No, definitely not. So to me, it wasn't really the future. But now I can understand it given the age that we're living in right now and the uncertainty that the future currently holds. I am looking forward to a future now that has some of what the Galaxy Z Flip has reintroduced to us. The fact that we can have phones that are incredibly weird, different, still provide really good experiences, but at the same time have some sort of innovative tech in it that just makes us look at it and go, wow, that's different. Are there caveats to using the Galaxy Z Flip? Absolutely. Check out my last two videos on this particular phone, both the Who Is This For and also my top 5 complaints. That way you can know that this is not a phone that's literally made for everyone. But at the same time, we are closer and closer to a future where things like this, things like our smartphones, which are getting bigger and bigger, can actually pare down and be easier to use on the daily. This type of future is within grasp. And that's because I'm literally grasping it in my hand right here. So if I were to give my Who Is This For video one more user that I think this phone might be for, it would be for the futurist, perhaps more succinctly put as the early adopter. After all, isn't that what we all pretty much are as tech enthusiasts, as early adopters? When we see something that actually grips us a little bit and actually wants us to try it out, we go for it. And that was what the case was with the Galaxy Z Flip. I know that there are some people in my comment sections that have said that they still have the phone. It may not be the best experience, but they're still happy to have it. And it's only going to get better from here. It might take a little while, but once we are finally able to get back to some sense of normalcy, where we get back to a tech industry that is pumping things out more and more every single year, this particular form factor is just going to get better, and we're going to see more people try it out. That's not to say we're not seeing it now. I mean, TCL just came out with a bunch of concepts over their own foldable screens and their rollable devices. I mean, that's some crazy stuff too. And we're continuing to see the tech industry still put out products even in this social distancing age, which is kind of a good thing, especially for creators like myself. I know that we are very privileged and very lucky to be able to still have work to do, especially since tech companies are trying to keep their products afloat as well, despite what's going on. So I guess the Galaxy Z Flip actually came out at the perfect time because it was able to get into people's hands. And as we are now waiting for what's coming next, both in life and in tech, we still have something here that gives us a glimpse into what that might be. We are going to make it to a point where when something new comes along, we're going to cherish it more so than ever and not take it for granted like we might have done before. So for all of you who are listening to the audio podcast right now, make sure you make it over to the YouTube channel. That way you can find this particular video topic and you can get into the comment sections to let me know what you're hopeful for or what you're looking forward to once we finally get back to some sort of normal lifestyle. I'll probably talk about some of your comments in the next podcast. It's something that I want to do with every podcast based upon the videos and the comments that I did throughout that week. So make sure you get into the comment sections. Let's have those discussions. For the YouTube side, make sure you drop some likes on this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Honestly, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I know that everybody has like a slew of different distractions. They're all needed right now, especially in the stay-at-home era. But yeah, I'm just glad that you chose to spend a little bit of time with me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into a little break for the podcast side, but for the YouTube side, I'm just going to thank you one final time and remind you to enjoy your tea, everybody.